Hello, everyone, and welcome to Esports Players Club. If you haven't been here already, this is a super really fun place to be, and we have a lot of really exciting activities planned for every single one of you, and it's going to be a great time, so I really hope you're ready. Anyways, my name is Coach Anthony, and I am the game development / programming / coding instructor here at Esports Players Club. I do all the coding and game development classes, and we also have some other coaches on our staff as well that do the gameplay classes, so we will be doing a lot of that as well. But first off, I'd like to thank you for coming here and being a part of our summer camp. These are generally a lot of fun and some of my personal favorite things I get to do here on my job. Now, with all of this being said, and I really think we're going to have an amazing time, I also think it's very important that I just lay down a couple of ground rules just to make sure that we are all on the same page. We all know all the rules and regulations when it comes to summer camp, and if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can either ask myself or a staff member, and we will 100% answer those questions or concerns. So, to begin with, rule number 1 is by no means are you allowed to leave the facility without a parent or parent permission. By no means at all. Doing this will immediately result in a phone call home and a potential discussion about whether you can actually be a part of this summer camp. Your safety is always number 1, and by no means can you leave the building, because then we might not know where you are and then you might get lost, and that would be bad for everybody, right? So do not leave the building unless you have parents' permission, or your parent / guardian is with you, or in a very extreme case, we are leaving for some random reason, which I have never done in the entire summer camp history at ESBC, so I don't think we will be doing it now. But I just wanted to make sure that I said that. Second thing is, if somebody walks in the door, you are not to approach them. I don't care if it's your great uncle. I don't care if it's your best friend's dad's neighbor's mom and his cat's here with him and you want to pet the cat. I don't care. You do not approach them whatsoever. If they need you, or if you want to approach them because you want to pet this really fluffy cat, which I understand because I like petting really fluffy cats, then simply just ask us. Very easy. Hey, can I go pet that fluffy cat? Let me go ask them. I go over and ask them. They say, yes, you can pet the very fluffy cat. You go to pet the very fluffy cat and it runs away because cats are scared. And yeah, so there you go. Very easy, right? But do not just run up to a random person, even if you think you know them, because strangers could be danger, right? I think we all know this. I'm not going to go over this, but just so you know, do not approach people when they walk in. Okay? Next thing is, unless otherwise instructed, most gameplay activities will be in Bravo. Pretty much every summer camp activity will be in Bravo. Unless we are doing a very specific class, you are to be in Bravo. Whenever you free play, you are free playing in Bravo. So make sure that you are in Bravo and not in Alpha. Now, if we're doing a specific tournament or class or activity that requires both rooms and I tell you to go into Alpha, that is different. But in all other circumstances, you are not in Alpha. That is for the free playing members that are here to free play, or for the tournament teams and whatnot. Your room is Bravo. So use Bravo. Cool. The very next rule is what happens if we need to get your attention. Very easy. I'm just going to put my hand up like this and I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, eyes on me. You are then supposed to stop whatever you are doing and get your eyes on me so that way I can give you instructions. Okay? So please do not scream over us when we are talking. It makes it impossible for us to do the instructions and to tell you what's going on. Very simple. I say 3, 2, 1, you stop what you're doing, and I say eyes on me. You simply take your eyes off of this amazing game that you are probably losing and just look at me. Okay? Cool. Awesome. Also, in the event that we are in a tournament and you have your headset on and you cannot hear me say 3, 2, 1, eyes on me, then no problem. We will probably recognize that and we will flash the lights. If you are in Bravo or in the central lobby area and you see the lights flash and we are not doing a very specific activity where lights flash, you are to stop whatever you are doing and get your eyes on us. That is us trying to get your attention, because oftentimes you may have a headset on or you may be loud for whatever reason. right? If we flash the lights, eyes on us. And then whatever thing you were doing, let's say it was a Fortnite tournament, the round is over, right? So if we were doing a Fortnite tournament and we flash the lights and it's right in the middle of the round that you were playing, that round is over. Nothing counts. It doesn't count at all. It was a practice round, right? So keep that in mind. If we flash the lights, it's over. Just take your headset off, put your stuff down, stop looking at the screen, and get your eyes on us because we're about to tell you something very important. Okay, so really, really keep that in mind. Those are my two things. 3, 2, 1, eyes on me. Also, if I flash the lights, get your eyes on us. Next thing is if we are playing a tournament or doing a gameplay event or even doing like a game development class that requires our headsets. Maybe I asked you guys to watch a video very similar to this one. Please do not put your headset on until we tell you. Why? Let's say I need to give instructions and all of you, put your headset on. How many of you are going to hear what I say? I'll give you the answer. None, right? Because you have headsets on. So just simple. Don't put them on until I tell you. Very easy, right? If it's a tournament and we're doing a tournament, a Fortnite tournament or a Valorant tournament or a Roblox or Minecraft or whatever tournament, right? Very easy. Just don't put your headset on until I tell you, right? Don't make this way overcomplicated. You will be able to check your audio settings, all of that stuff. I've ran many tournaments before. Staff members have run many tournaments. They know what they're doing. Also, pretty much don't put your headset on until the start of a round either. So just keep that in mind, guys. Please don't put your headset on. It makes it impossible for us to give instructions when you do. Cool. Very next rule is no banging on anything. That is a big one, and we don't really give warnings for this one. If we see you banging, you're just going to sit out and take a break because we don't tolerate it at all. You are not to bang on the desk. You are not to bang on any of the couches or a table, anywhere whatsoever. You are not allowed to kick things, and you are certainly not allowed to bang on any of our equipment, such as our keyboards, mouses, computers, etc. Any indication that you are doing that, we will most likely tell you to take a 5-minute break, and if it happens again, we will discuss whether you are mature enough to be at this camp. Now, I get it, guys. You guys love playing Fortnite and you lose and you're like, oh my god, I lost because I did an awful rotation and tried to fight 3 people at once and I couldn't build as well as them, so I of course lost, but I'm going to scream about it anyways. Listen, I get it. I know you guys are frustrated, but don't scream and bang on the desk. It's not going to make it any better, and if anything, it's just going to result in you not playing at all. Okay? Last thing I want to say on this note is that, believe it or not, you are actually responsible for anything that breaks. So let's say you are banging on your keyboard, even though we told you not to, and you break the keyboard. You, meaning your mom or dad, are going to be, or guardian, are going to be financially responsible for replacing that equipment. So unless you want to talk to your parents about how you broke an $80 keyboard and that they need to pay for it because you couldn't control yourself, don't bang on our stuff. Pretty straightforward. All right. Cool. Next thing is, please don't bug us all the time for things, especially if we're setting up for an event or a tournament. Please do not scream, oh my god, Mr. Anthony, I need a thing. Guess what's going to happen? I'm not going to be able to get you that thing. Why? Because I'm helping a whole bunch of other people. So the more you scream at me to get you the thing that you need, the less likely it is that I'm going to get that thing for you. Very easy. If it's an emergency, just raise your hand. If it's something simple and you think it can wait until we are done servicing the 10 other people that also need our help, then just wait a second. If it's pretty important and you just want to let us know, just be like, hey, Mr. Anthony, I just need a controller whenever you get a second. I put it in my mind, I'll put it in my mental queue, so will another staff member, and we'll get everything organized and get things going for you. But if all of you are screaming at me that you need a controller and that the controller I gave you is the wrong controller, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to get a controller. I'm just going to look at you and say, I'm going to wait until you all stop screaming, and then maybe I'll consider giving you a controller. Okay? So keep that in mind, guys. Just don't bug us for stuff. If you need help or just need something, please just raise your hand. It's pretty simple. Cool. Next thing is profanity. Now, if you need a rundown on what we consider profanity, we will kindly let you know in a one-on-one setting, but I don't think we need to discuss what we consider to be profanity. Any negative or, as they say, bad words that are used in our facility will immediately result in a disqualification or a sit-out time for that event. You are, under no circumstances, allowed to use any profanity whatsoever. I'll say that again, just in case somebody didn't hear me. One more time. You are not allowed in our summer camp to use profanity at all. It will immediately result in you being dismissed from whatever event we were doing, meaning disqualified, or you're not doing the gameplay class anymore. And if you think that that's a good way to get out of coding or gameplay, don't worry, chess is a lot more boring for a lot of you, and that's what you will be doing. You will be reading about the Sicilian defense. If it's really bad, we may need to talk to, your guardians, and we just don't tolerate it. So very simple, please just don't say any profanities, and we won't have to get mad at you. Cool, 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 cool. All right, let's also talk about how we treat others in the facility. You are not to touch anybody's stuff, equipment, or keyboard without either a staff member letting you know or that person explicitly saying to you, hey, can you help me with this? Can you show me how to set up my settings? Under those two situations, we will allow you to touch another person's keyboard, but unless that specific thing happened, where either I said to, or another staff member, or the specific individual really was struggling and really looked over to you specifically and said, hey, I really need help with this. Can you help me? Those are the only two situations. Other than that, you are not to touch anybody's stuff whatsoever. You are also not allowed to touch anybody else whatsoever. Keep your hands to yourself. I don't think I need to say that, but in the event that you start doing that, you will have to sit out from whatever activity we are doing. And again, later you may be, dismissed from the camp, We'll talk about consequences later, but that's also a very serious offense. So just in case you're confused, don't touch anybody's stuff and don't touch anybody. Pretty simple, right? At least I hope so. So just remember that. As well, we are not going to scream any unsportsmanlike things to other players during events. I know you guys love playing Fortnite. You love getting fired up. You love putting on your Renegade Raider skin and immediately going out, cranking 90s and dying to fall damage, right? But when you die to fall damage, you're not going to scream, oh my god, you all are the worst because you sprayed out my builds because I built an entire 2-story tower and that was a terrible decision, so I'm just going to scream at you all instead of taking accountability for my bad decision, right? No, we're not going to do that. And you are definitely not going to call people out by name and say anything bad about them. Now, with that being said, can you have a little bit of fun? Can you say, oh wow, looks like I got you that time? Sure. But just keep it respectful, right? Can you do some emotes here and there when you make a really, really awesome play? Of course, right? Generally, when it comes to unsportsmanlike conduct, you'll know and will know if it's going too far, right? So just use a little bit of common sense. If you need us to remind you what that is, we will. So don't worry about it. Just no unsportsmanlike conduct, guys. Pretty straightforward. All right, let's go ahead and talk about accounts and your own stuff that you may bring to the camp. I know a lot of you sweats in particular have a very specific gaming mouse that costs $500 and has 64 macros and 27 buttons and the smallest keyboard imaginable, and you will not play any game without these two things. Yeah, go for it. You can 100% play with those two things. However, it is all your responsibility, meaning if anything happens to those items, we are responsible for it in no way. So if for whatever reason you take your gaming mouse into the stream room and then you take it into Bravo and then you leave and you go into Alpha even though you're not supposed to, and then you go back to Bravo and then you put it on a different computer and then you leave it there and you forget about it, and the next day it's not there because you forgot about it and we look everywhere for it, I'm sorry, but your really, really expensive gaming mouse is lost. We'll do our best. I'm not saying that we're just going to scoff you off, but your stuff is your responsibility. It is not our responsibility to keep track of your stuff. And that goes for accounts as well. Again, if you want to put on that sweaty Renegade Raider skin and do all your fancy little emotes, that's fine. We really don't have a problem with that. However, if it, number one, takes you a long time to log in, meaning more than 30 seconds, you are not allowed to play on your account. Number two, if anything happens to your account, like V-Bucks get stolen, Robux get stolen, anything like that, you are not allowed to play on you are not responsible for those damages, okay? And this rule only goes for free play. In tournament games, you are not allowed to use your account, period. Let me say that again. game development classes, gameplay classes, or tournament events, you are not allowed to use your account, period. The only time you will be allowed to use your account is during free play. And if something happens to it, that is on you, not us. Now, we do take account stuff very seriously. We've had very little incidents of everything ever happening, and when it does happen, we are right on top of it. But still, your account, your responsibility. So just use it wisely. Pretty easy to sign out and use two-factor authentication, guys. We even teach classes on how to set all of that up if you need help with that. Cool. All right, so I think that pretty much covers the mass majority of things. Again, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always ask us. But let me go ahead and just go over what happens if you fail any one of the following criteria that I laid down. Number 1, you will receive a warning. If it's a minor offense, the more major offenses like profanity and banging on stuff, you will not receive a warning. We will just sit you out. The second thing is we will sit you out from that activity for a little bit. So if we were doing a really awesome Fortnite tournament and you decided to bang on the desk because, again, you cranked 50 90s into the sky and got shot down and died to fall damage and you couldn't control yourself and you decided to bang your controller on the table, you will be sitting out from that event and you will not receive anything from that event. And don't worry, I have a great book all about chess and the Sicilian defense. If you just want to read that for that entire hour, you're more than welcome to. If you continually break rules, even after we've been even after we've sat you out and we told you not to do this various thing, right? Then we will 100% call home and we will have a conversation with your parents about your behavior and about what we're seeing and why, we're not friends of you just smashing a keyboard. Okay, so please just follow the rules. And if it's really bad, you will 100% be dismissed from the camp and possibly not allowed to return depending on how bad the offense is. That has never happened, but we do take the experience of the entire camp and we're not going to let one single individual ruin it for everybody. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always simply just ask a staff member. We will pretty much lay out exactly what I just said over again to you, but just in summary, it's pretty simple, guys. Just keep your hands to yourself, keep your hands off of other people's keyboards, don't scream profanities, and don't bang on our stuff. Also, don't leave the building and walk up to strangers. I don't think we're asking for a lot, and last thing is your stuff, your responsibility. So anyways, again, if you have any questions, please just talk to a staff member, and I will see you all in the next one.